scenarios. And scenarios take environment, transportation, and land use, and they change them in different ways, and you model it, and you say, well, how much energy are we going to use? How many jobs can we create? What kind of job environment are we creating? What kind of air quality are we going to have? How much land are we going to consume? How much agriculture will be left? How much traffic are we going to have? How much water are we using? How many miles do you have to drive to get where you want to go? What are your housing opportunities? What's your carbon footprint? Those are all things you can model along with about 20 other things. And so you go from discussing things at sort of an argumentative level to a whole bunch of facts about if we make this choice, we'll end up here, we make this choice, we'll end up here. Well, what do you think? Where you can really see how much difference it makes in those different virtual futures. If you're going to make a mess of your region, do it with a virtual computer model and all the qualitative facts about it, and not do it in reality. So this is the best way to bring a region together is through scenarios. And I'm going to, these are Sacramento's, just to show you. This is going on everywhere in the country. These are Sacramento's footprints. I took out some of the great ones I have that you'll see in a few minutes. This is Envision Central Texas, the Austin area. Do they want to grow around their belt route? Do they want to reestablish their small towns? Even Los Angeles. Here's how they would grow at their trend. Do they do a lot of infill? Do they build a fifth ring of belt routes around LA? You know, these kind of big picture questions about regions. By the way, in LA they found if they changed 2% of the land use, they could cut congestion by 20% over 20 years. Now, does that sound like a pretty good proposition? You can only figure that out if you do this kind of scenarios work. Okay, these were our scenarios in Utah. Scenario A was just continuing to grow with large lots and things we were doing then. Scenario B was more compact, but mainly still larger lots. Scenario C started adding some transit and some centers and some mixed use in it. Scenario D was much denser, and so on. Now, where do you think Utahns would pick once they saw all these modeled? Well, they said, well, how much land are we going to consume? How much ag land is going to be gone? You know, where will that land be? How many vehicle miles traveled are we going to go on these? How long are we going to spend in congestion? What are our emissions going to be into the air we all breathe together? What will the housing mix be like, and will my kids have a place to live? Are we going to spend $37 billion for infrastructure or 23? All of those were questions they looked at, and 600,000 Utahns were engaged. We had 17,000 actually answer the detailed questionnaires, and then we surveyed them, and the Utahns picked between C and D, which shocked everybody. We didn't call it smart growth, we called it quality growth. It was our growth. And then we came up with our own 6 goals and 42 strategies, and that's been going on since that time. Now, I'm going to skip and tell you what's changed. We went out and bought, because we decided we wanted a multimodal transportation system, and I used transportation as an example. For $185 million, we bought 175 miles of rail line from the Union Pacific Railroad, and we created 9 future transit corridors. We then figured out where that transit would go and kind of the land use changes in that small percent of our valleys, and we figured we could get 1 million people where they could walk less than 1,000 steps and get on a train. In 20 years, 1 million people could walk less than 1,000 steps and get on a train. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, at those stops, you've got all sorts of things, employment centers and walkable villages and housing. Now, a lot of our valleys are still single-family homes like they've always been and will always be, I believe. But we learned to put density in the right places to make this transportation work, and we set out to create that transportation system with commuter rail on heavy rail tracks, light rail, which we built, and the bus systems. And these are some of the ads we used.
The problem with waiting to solve Utah's escalating transportation crisis is the longer we wait, the longer we wait.
What's the value we're going out?
Act now to keep Utah moving. Vote for Proposition 3.
Want to speed up your commute? There. That just saves you 15 years. Build needed tracks lines, roads, and commuter rail 15 years sooner. Vote for Proposition 3.
The Chamber is the sponsor, the business community.
In Utah, there are 80,000 more cars every year on our highways. If we wait to build more tracks, roads, and commuter rail, congestion will bury us. Vote for Proposition 3, because too many cars is just no fun. Utah's traffic congestion will triple over the next 25 years. So before our transportation system gives out on us, we need to relieve the pressure. Vote for more tracks, roads, and commuter rail. Vote for Proposition 3.
After the Envision Utah visioning process with the whole community being involved, 85% of the public supported this. It went from being a communist conspiracy to a great idea. And they voted twice to tax themselves to do it in increments. And since that time, this is what's been going on in Utah. We like classical music. That's when we're now building the 5 new rail lines. We already had 4 in place before that. I'm going to skip that one. Hopefully this next one will come up. Now this is a multimodal system. Heavy rail, light rail, buses, specialty buses. More classical music. I know what some of you are thinking, I'd never ride that. Now, have you ever been on a street like this one? Full of cars? How many of you have been on a congested street like this? Well, if we can just get a few people out of their cars and get some of you to walk and bike around and somebody to take the bus and the tracks or the high-speed rail system or whatever it is, look at all the road I opened up for the rest of you with your SUVs. You benefit even though you never get on. In the rush hour in Salt Lake City, that track system running parallel to the freeway carries 1 full lane of traffic. We can't ever expand that freeway again. There's too much stuff on both sides. You want to double the capacity of the train? Double the number of cars. You want to double again? Double the headways. It is the most flexible system for our region you can possibly imagine. So there are lots of long-term reasons to think about it. It may not be a solution for you, but it's the kind of thing that came out of ours. It was our choice, and then we were willing to pay for it to make this happen. Now, next you're going to hear from Boo Thomas, one of the great regional visioning things that has gone on in America, if not the best, as Louisiana speaks after the hurricane, as a community rally to rescue itself and to plan a great future. The theme became Build It Back Better when I was there, and so I'm just excited about that. But for my last slide, just so you don't think we've lost our Western roots.
That's why I said bank. You don't have to chase a bank.
UTA Frontrunner, grand opening April 26th. Catch it if you can.
Thank you very much.